All right, good evening, friends, or good morning, or good afternoon, wherever you are watching me from. I'm here to cover. I have about. I'm going to speak in general. I have about 5 or 6 things I want to touch about, and as I go, having the discussion here, if I remember other things that I want to put on this video, I'm going to bring it up. There's something that I've done videos on it. I have 2 videos on my page regarding this president's primary school record and secondary school record that is submitted in the form. So last night I was sleeping, despite I have dropped 2 videos explaining the political angle of it and then the constitutional angle of it. But last night something came onto my brain yesterday when I was lying down, and I said, okay, I'm going to try to figure it out and ask these questions. Please, you guys should. I would like to hear from you guys on the comment sections. Now, in 2023, okay, Tinubu submitted when he completed his form, he indicated the primary schools and the secondary school that he attended. Right? Okay. And then he submitted it and vied for the office of the presidency, of which he claimed that he won, even though a lot of people believe that he did not win the election. Even recently, as of yesterday, I watched a clip of video from the ECOWAS. I'm going to come to that also to address that issue. Now, so when he was contesting 2023 elections, he's indicated in the form the primary schools and the secondary school he attended with the year. All right? Okay. Now, people followed up and made an investigation and find out there's information provided in that form regarding the secondary schools and the primary schools are not correct with regards to the dates of the establishment of the primary schools. How can you say you graduated from a primary school when that school has not even been established? All right, so let's put that aside. Then I was thinking aloud yesterday, if Tinubu filled the form in 2023 to vie for the office of the presidency, and then in this coming election, 2027 elections, he omitted those areas without filling anything, does it mean that he knew that he did not meet the threshold, that primary school threshold, or he did not attend any primary school and just filled the form to win the presidency? And now that he's a sitting president, he said, no, I don't care. I'm already here. Nobody can get me out of. Nobody can get me, query me, or order me, or ask me question. So does it mean that he knew? So should I say is winning the presidency by trick? You knew beforehand that you did not have this just to get to the destination. And once you arrive at the destination and then you want to renew your stay in that destination, and they ask you to provide all the document. Now you omitted some document that he presented in the previous election. So does it mean that you knew that you did not merit or qualify for the threshold to vie for office of the president? So you just fill in a fictitious information in that form just to get to the presidency. Now you get to the presidency and say, I can do whatever I want to do. Nobody is going to ask me which school to attend to. So I was looking at it as, is this normal? Is this normal? Even though constitutionally what he did now is okay. Because I prefer to leave the form blank and explain later than rightfully putting information that I know that is wrong. That could be termed as putting false information in a form, and once you sign it, that carries a lot of weight. Okay? So, the question I'm looking for answers from you guys is that, so he knew in 2023 that he did not have that threshold, the primary school or secondary school eligibility, but he intentionally filled that section with a fictitious school that was not even established, but he graduated from there. So he knew that that information was wrong, just to get to the seat of the presidency and now say, you know what, I don't give a damn. I'm not going to put that information. I found that as wrong. I found that disturbing. In that, what he does now, let me just be sincere, the form he filled now without filling that blank, constitutionally, is right. Politically, it's wrong. There are two angles. There's a political angle of it, and there's a constitutional angle. Constitutional now, what he did now by leaving those sections blank is right. Politically, it's wrong. But where I have a problem that I would like people to challenge, I want lawyers. If you are, I'm not a lawyer. I want people who knows the Constitution. I want lawyers to look into this. Can they challenge his 2023 election and say, look, we have a problem here. We need an explanation. In 2023, you indicated the primary school and the secondary school you attended, and you signed the form. Why now, in 2027 elections, you are leaving them blank? Does it mean you knew that you did not have the minimum threshold to seek for this office, but you intentionally fail it because you know you have people in the government or whatever to cover you up, to allow you sail through, to win the presidency, and now that you are in the seat, you say, you know what? Nobody has the authority to question me. I think I need somebody. I need people who knows the law. You cannot disqualify him based on the current status of the application now for leaving them blank. What he did now was right. Listening to the attorney's advice. That's the best way to go. But what about 23? My question, I want somebody to ask him, President, why did you... There are two different things here. The information is supplied, and this is now. Because they're supposed to be the same. So why are you leaving this now and this? Somebody should ask that question. So if eventually he says, you know what, yes, I know, I lied, I just put it there, then that's the basis to say, you know what, we might file a motion to disqualify you for putting a false information in that form to get to this seat. I'm thinking that because, listen, I'm just going to give you guys a theoretical example. I'm just going to give an example. I had an employee, all right, it's just an example. I had an employee that filled a form years back, all right, that has been working with me years back, a couple of years. But on further verification, we find out that the information he supplied to gain that opportunity was false. Because we employed you based on the information, believing that they are true, that you merited, that you qualified for it. But as years goes by, there's a revision to, to review all the papers and the documentations. There are some specific sections of job that requires every 2 years you have to verify those documentation again with the government. There's a field of work you're going to be doing that every 2 or 3 years they have to revisit your file with the government to make sure that whatever you say stands true. So I belong to those fields. So we find out that the information he provided to gain that job, after we went to verify from the authority, just to revisit and check everything, we find out that there is a problem somewhere. And then we got the report back, and they said there's a problem here. So I called the person into the office and said, listen, can you explain this to me? Can you just explain this to me? Already, we have the we have the paper, we have the evidence. There is a false information provided in the form. So I requested for clarifications on that information. Why was this here? And you could see in the face, the body language, that the time is up. So there and there, you have to call the authority. I had the option to call the authority and hand him over to the authority, or let him go and terminate the job. So based on that information, the job was terminated, the employment was terminated for getting a job with falsifies information. It doesn't matter how many years you've worked there. For the fact that you get entrance into this facility with a false information, they're going to terminate you. If you are, sometimes they will call the authorities and hand you over to the authorities because it's an offense. Okay? Sometimes some company can tell you, for the past how many years you've been working here, you have to pay them back all the money they paid you. They'll sue you to court to recover all the money they pay you because you gain that job or whatever you are seeking with a falsified information. So I don't know if the example I gave you guys is right. So the same thing happened to Tinubu. He's seeking for the office of the president. He's seeking for an employment to be the president of Nigeria. But the information that he provided in the previous election to get to this point has been verified that it was a false information. So you knowingly put a false information in that form to get to that point. Now, you want to renew your contract with the Nigerian people, and then the form is given to you again to fill. Instead of we expect you to provide the same information. Your name must be the same thing. Your name last year must be the same thing this year. Your date of birth must be the same. So we expect you to fill the same information. The only thing that can change is your address, because you might have moved to a new address, or you might have changed employment to another employment. But at least your qualification, that the minimum requirement of the work should be remain the same because you've graduated. So that is where I'm having an issue. In 2023, you provided us with an information that you attended this school in that form to gain a job. You are applying for a job to be the Nigerian people are looking for people to employ to be the president of Nigeria, to lead them. So they ask you to submit all your documentations. So you knowingly provide information to the Nigerian people, knowing that it is false, just to get to that seat. Now you get to that seat, now you are looking for renewal of your contract. And then the people that employed you see that there's a misinformation. What is supplied in 2020 is not something different. That is where I have a problem. To ask question, what is going on? Because if you gain that job with a false information, you are not supposed even to be there. You have to lose it. And that is where I expect INEC to seek for clarification. If INEC is truly an independent organization, that is where INEC should have stepped on and say, you know what? Houston will have a problem. Presidency, we need an explanation. In 2023, you fill this form, say you attended this school. Now, 2027, you are leaving it blank. There's something different. It's either you attended the school or you did not attend the school. And if you know you did not attend the school, then you provide that information seeking for a job with the Nigerian people to allow you to go and lead them, then they give you that job. Now you're coming back to renew that contract with them, and then they see that you are providing different information. To my own, in a layman's term language, that should be a ground to say, no, you know what, on this, you can't contest. Because there's a discrepancy between the form you supplied in 2023 and in 2027. So I was thinking about this last night. I said, no, even though I know there's a constitutional aspect of it and the political aspect, whatever he does now, the current form he fills now is right. But what he filled in 23 compared to what he filled here is where there are changes. And that is why I believe that INEC should have asked questions, or somebody in the legal department or the lawyer should pick up this thing and say, no, there's a problem. Because if I'm seeking for a job with your company, and I came with all my documentation I give to get a job, you look at those, okay, he qualified, and you employ me. And after 3-4 years, you find out, after going through to, after 3 or 4 years, you want to, verify my document with the authorities or with the school again to make sure everything remains the same. And you find out that the document that I provided to the company is going to employ was falsified. Or the information I provided that I work in this company went through, I did not work in that company, and later they find out that the experience I say I have working at another company to get a job here was false. I think the company has the right to terminate my employment and say, no, you came in here with a falsified information. Based on that, we're going to terminate your company, because terminate your employment with us. And that is where I'm looking at it from that principle, from that angle, that you are seeking an employment with the Nigerian people, you provided them all your documentations, now you're looking for a renewal of that contract, and then you are not providing the same information again. That is why I believe I was thinking aloud, so I'm going to bring it to the media. I need you guys to comment on this. What do you guys think about it? What do you guys think about it? All right. Now I'm going to the second thing again is I'm going to add to this video. I'm going to make it short, and I could see that the NDC P2B is looking for a DG Director General as a campaign manager. What I'm going to say on that aspect is that you need a serious campaign manager. If P2B is choosing a campaign manager, that campaign manager must be selected on merit. Don't just go and appoint someone because it's my close friends or because, no. This is your campaign manager. It has nothing to do with what, how close you are with the person, or he's from your ethnicity group, your tribe. No. You have to employ somebody as your campaign manager, DG, who is competent, experienced, who has held that position before in various parties, who can guide you and shape your policies to model you, with what Nigerians are aspiring to get from you. So you need experienced somebody in that seat. You don't need anybody, an OES member. One thing is that you don't need an OES member. When I said you don't want someone who's going to say, oh, yes to anything you say. You need somebody to challenge you with an idea, who is going to bring out policies, design policies for you, tailored to a specific places that you are going to campaign. You need somebody to push the button. You need somebody to challenge you. Don't go and employ an OES member. Pay the person very well. Pay your campaign team very well. They'll come in as a team. Pay them that money and then listen to them. And once you appoint a DG, you are under your DG, even though you are the presidential candidate. He will direct you. You have to follow his directions regarding your campaign. That is why you employed him. That's why you are paying them that such money. So on your seeking for DG, you have to employ someone that merit it, who has vast experience in handling such positions with various parties, and who knows the terrain of Nigerian politics. If I'm going to advise, I would say look for somebody from the north. Somebody from the north, okay, that is vast with northern politics. Okay, vast with northern politics, who can also bring more votes. Okay, who knows all the terrain of the 19 northern states, knows what each state and each local government needs. Because anytime you are campaigning, you cannot go every day and be campaigning on the same topic. As I said in my previous videos, every region, every local government, every state are not peculiar. Your message must be tailored according to where you are visiting. You have to find out. That's why you have a campaign manager to know what is going on there, what is likely on there, and they're going to tailor your messages according to the state you are visiting. So that is my contribution on your DG campaign search, the NDC, the P2B. So please do the due diligence to make sure you know what you're looking for. So that is why I said I'm going to drop a short video here to address this issue. So I'm going to be waiting to hear from you guys. All right, I would like to hear from you guys on this Tinubu's primary and secondary school certificate that is missing. So thank you guys for watching, and hopefully I'm going to see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.